If you enjoy this video, be sure to check out my new book, co-written with John Heaton, Lights, Camera, Beatle, a deep dive into the solo Beatle music videos 1970 to 1995, available now on Amazon. Enjoy the video. On the 11th of November 1977, Paul McCartney and Wings released as their new single a Scottish waltz that was to take the UK by storm. Mull of Kintyre, a song co-written by Paul and his longtime sidekick in Wings, Denny Laine, dated back to 1974, but was finished up in 1976, following completion of Wings' mammoth world tour. The song was recorded at Paul's Scottish farm in August 1977. At this point, drummer Joe English was still in the band, but guitarist Jimmy McCulloch would be sacked from the group while the sessions were ongoing. Paul recruited the services of the Campbelltown Pipe Band to achieve the necessary droning ambience associated with the Scottish Highlands. The song, with its pictorial lyrics depicting past-painted deserts and valleys of green, would probably have been a big hit even had Paul simply chosen to perform it in the Top of the Pop studios for the duration of its chart run. But instead, he chose to produce not one but two memorable music videos, the first of which has gone down in history as one of the most iconic pop videos ever made. This first film was handled by former Let It Be director Michael Lindsay-Hogg, whom Wings had previously worked with on the video for their single Hell on Wheels in 1973. The storyboard for the video pretty much wrote itself. The required ingredients of Scottish scenery, beach-bound pipers, hot toddies and a bonfire so obvious that to not have any one of them would have seemed a glaring omission. By now Joe English had also left Wings, so the band that appeared in the video was the core trio of Paul, Linda and Denny, by a curious coincidence the same configuration that had appeared in Hell on Wheels. The Mull of Kintyre is the southernmost craggy outcrop of the Kintyre Peninsula in western Scotland. However, at no point was the video actually going to be filmed there. Originally, the location was to be the exposed Carskey Beach, which looks out upon the Atlantic and the fabled Mull. But an ominous weather forecast forced the change to a stretch of shore on the privately owned but open-access Saddell estate on the east coast of the Kintyre Peninsula, several miles to the north of the McCartney's farm. A notable landmark here is Saddell Castle, built by David Hamilton, the Duke of Argyll, in the early 16th century, which is visible in the distance as the pipers come marching up the beach. On the day of the shoot, Lindsay-Hogg was joined by the producer Geoffrey Forster and a crew of 13 people, including 2 assistant directors, lighting, sound and electrical technicians and makeup artists. The Campbelltown Pipe Band had already made a vital contribution to the record, making their involvement in the video a given. The pipers and drummers were filmed strutting their stuff on the shingle beach at 10 AM on the 13th of October. A dozen takes were staged, after which the musicians were too exhausted to attempt any more. After lunch, Paul, Linda and Denny filmed their sequences. At the start of the video, Paul is pictured sitting outside a small cottage or bothy on the Saddell estate. Linda is then seen walking from the cottage holding in her arms her and Paul's new baby son James, who at the time was only 1 month old. Paul is joined by Denny, the 2 men looking out across the sunlit bay before all 3 Wings members are shown strolling in the direction of the shore, where the pipers march to meet them. Paul and Linda's daughters Stella and Mary are seen playing at the water's edge. As evening falls, various locals begin arriving at the beach for a sing-song around the bonfire. During the party, the McCartney's eldest daughter, Heather, then 15 years of age and sporting a punk hairstyle, is briefly seen standing near the fire. The weather was fine during the filming, but it went dark sooner than expected, leading to the bonfire scenes happening earlier in the video than originally intended. The party attendees were an assortment of lucky locals who were bussed down to the shore and showered with McCartney hospitality. Steaming cups of tea were dispensed from the back of Paul's trusty Land Rover, Hell on Wheels. The lineup of the pipe band in the video comprised the pipers Tony Wilson, Dougie Lang, John McGeechy, Ian McCarroll, Archie Cofield, John Lang Brown and David McIver, along with 7 drummers: Campbell Maloney, Ian Mackenzie, David Hasty, Jimmy McGeechy, Tommy Blue, Ian Campbell and John McCullum. Paul was enamoured by the musicians' clear love for their craft and by their agreeable personalities, later saying during an interview with Capital Radio that they're farmers and farmers' sons and an ex-copper from Glasgow. A few nutters, but they're a nice bunch. With its stunning scenery and joyful holiday atmosphere, Lindsay-Hogg's video for Mull of Kintyre proved enormously popular with the public, becoming a staple on TV screens in the run-up to Christmas 1977 and beyond. Though it would later be replaced with a shorter studio-bound video filmed at Elstree, the location-based film has endured in the public's imagination and to this day is completely synonymous with a record which, charity singles aside, remains the best-selling UK single of all time.